Can you hear me now? There we
I
go.
can hear you now. There we go.
Yeah, it was connected to my speaker.
Gotcha. How you been, man?
I have been fantastic. I am cleaning up my working van right now because my boss is going to pick it up tomorrow so that he can see what parts I need to restock in it and everything like that.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry about all the emotional roller coaster, all this nonsense this weekend. Lord willing, it all finishes out just fine. Just the only thing I can think of in the meantime is just them getting the parts, but usually that goes smoothly. So.
Yeah, usually.
Yep.
How
Yep.
much
Yep.
is it going to be?
With all the work they're doing, and keep in mind they're like number one or number two in the whole area. It's but they were the first ones that could actually take me, kind of a thing. It's going to be little, just barely north of 2,200. Because I got to completely replace condenser, all kinds of other stuff, whatever. But I feel like that's not the worst price I could have gotten.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but yeah, had, but yeah, he helped out making sure that we could get that covered. I'm a little tighter than I want to be, but like we agreed, like Casey and I, she's like, yeah, no, you need to go, like, if you possibly can, because it's obvious, Satan and everything else doesn't want you to do it, and yet God keeps opening
Now you
doors
got to do
for
it
you
even
to
more.
be able to do it. Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
and God keeps opening doors for you to be able to do it regardless. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, you got to fight. So.
I'm assuming that's who the anonymous person was.
Well, I told you. I said the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
said
what
I'd
I was
probably
thinking.
take it out, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
Yep. I don't mind telling like individual people, but I'm not telling like everybody.
That is completely understandable.
Yep, but he just wanted to help out, as soon as he heard what happened, he's like, "No, I want to make sure that happens if possible." So.
You were like, you know what? That's fine. You can help me out all you want.
Well, I mean, like I don't ever feel bad about that, because I've gotten to a point in my life where I realize a lot of the value I bring to other people's life isn't monetary.
Yeah.
I do have monetary stuff, but a lot of what I bring to people isn't monetary, and they're the ones with the money.
Oh,
So like that's kind of how God's kingdom works. I don't have a problem with that.
that's
You know what I mean?
exactly how it works. It works with my family, or me and my family,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
all my cousin, who somehow always has money, always just thousands of dollars laying around, has literally given me, not even expecting return. He randomly walked up and handed me $1,000 cash one day, and he's somewhat of a believer, but he was like, "Don't you effing try and think you're going to repay me." And I was like,
Right.
so
Okay, sir.
I've got,
Yes, sir.
all right. I mean, okay. So, I mean, I've been trying to figure out how to repay him. He thinks that, all the advice and everything I've given him throughout the years is repayment enough. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think so, because that's $1,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, to me,
So,
it just frees me up to do more things like, he specifically said to make sure I can give it back whenever I can to other folk, not just money, but just whatever, and that frees
that's
me up.
exactly what my cousin said.
Yeah, that to me that frees me up for doing more audiobooks for Brood people and stuff like that, and pushing their stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't literally free me up, but it frees me up in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with us. I'm just chilling. I got uh 3 things to read if people will end up showing up. If not, it'll be okay. We've had some months where people are busy. But I have myself, the rhyming wrestling stuff I've been doing, the read from Joel Stanley for his sci-fi thing, and another chapter from Marty Frankum's Civil War story. thing. So
Would I be able to read mine like real quick?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
even though nobody's here, just
yeah. If
to
you
have
want
it
to,
on the record.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because I will not have time in like 20 minutes or 30 minutes or even like just any. I won't have any time for the
So
rest
you have
of
a
the.
partially complete chapter you wanna get on here so that people can give feedback if they hear it.
Yes, I have a couple pages.
Okay,
But
yeah.
yes,
I'll take a listen. Absolutely.
I personally already know that there's a lot I can change already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But I've never written a book before, so that's my excuse.
yeah. I hear you. I'm glad to hear you trying.
All right, let's see if I can pull it up right here. Okay. All right. Give me a second. I'm about to start reading it. Any second once I get just a little bit of trash picked up. All right. So it's called the Great Bayou Adventure because I really just threw a cliche name in there. That's literally just a filler name. I don't even know what it's actually going to be called. But all right, but here's how it starts. All right. The day started like any normal day for Pierre. He woke up to the bright, beautiful sun streaming down through the trees, glinted off the bayou. Pierre stretched his arms out and yawned. He could go back to sleep, but as he thought more and more about it, he realized that it was blackberry season, and if he hurried quick enough, he could catch some blackberries before the other animals could get it. Before he could finish his thoughts, he was startled by a voice behind him. Pierre, are you up yet? Leave me alone, Pierre replied. It was Tissarig. Now, Tissarig was the local idiot, to best put it in words. He was a possum, and even for a possum, was unintelligent. Pierre did not want to deal with him today. Pierre, look what I found, Tissarig exclaimed. What did you find? Pierre said, quite annoyed and really wanting the possum to leave. I don't know, but I think it's treasure, said the possum, with excitement in his voice. Pierre looked down at what the possum had in his hand. Unsurprisingly, Tissarig was not holding a treasure in his hand. In fact, it was, in fact, a rock. A seemingly colorful rock, but nevertheless a rock. That is not a treasure, Pierre said as he slapped his forehead with his paw. Sure it is. Look how shiny it is, Tissarig said with glee in his voice. Pierre decided to ignore the dumb beast as he had better things to do. After all, the blackberries weren't going to pick themselves. As Pierre headed down to the bayou's edge to search for the blackberry brush, he winced at the pain in his left arm. He stared down at the nub that used to be his paw. It had been 3 months since the terrible accident. One evening, Pierre had been searching for food and caught a whiff of a delightful smell. He eventually tracked it to this weird tubular-shaped object next to a tree. The smell came from inside this object, and Pierre could see food inside. But when Pierre reached into the trap, a loud snap rang out, and Pierre felt pain in his paw. He went to run, but his arm felt his arm stuck in this tubular object. Pierre fought and fought to get away, but could not pull his paw free. Eventually, Pierre's paw. This whole section is going to be edited, by the way. But eventually, Pierre's paw went numb, and unfortunately, the only way to free himself was to wrench the paw off, which he did, losing his paw. Losing his paw had traumatized Pierre deeply, but he was slowly getting over it, and had actually begun to accustom to the new life without a paw. At least it wasn't a foot, Pierre thought as he walked up to the blackberry bushes. When Pierre got to the blackberry bush, he had expected a lot more blackberries than what was left. Unfortunately, his conversation that morning had stalled him long enough to prevent him from getting to the blackberry bush in time. That stupid possum, he thought to himself. Missing breakfast was something Pierre did not like to do. It wasn't often he did, but when he did, he typically did not have a good day. His day had already started with annoyance from the pesky possum, and now he couldn't even eat. I picked you some blackberries, a soothing voice in front of Pierre said. Pierre looked up to see Gabrielle, a fellow raccoon, his mate, holding a handful of blackberries out for Pierre to take. Now, Pierre loved Gabrielle more than anything. She could brighten up his day no matter how bad his day was going, so seeing her holding breakfast for him made him smile. Why, thank you, Gabrielle, Pierre replied. You just made my day a whole lot better. What are your plans today? Asked Gabrielle. Now, Pierre had not really thought of his plans that day. The interaction with the possum had messed with his plans that day, as his thoughts of the day had been rudely interrupted. As Pierre thought harder about his day, he came up with an idea of what to do that day. He decided to take Gabrielle to the lake they called Catahoula Lake. Now, the thing about Catahoula Lake was that it was no ordinary lake. In fact, it was really a glorified pond. However, what was special about this lake was the fact that it had sakale, an incredibly tasty fish that had gotten hard to find over recent years, as fishermen loved this fish and targeted it more than others. Pierre thought that it would be a wonderful day to take his mate on. They could catch fish and eat to their fill all day together without any other pesky beast bothering them. He would ask Gabrielle as soon as they finished breakfast and there were no other animals around. He did not want Tisarig hearing about his escapade to Catahoula Lake. As expected, Gabrielle said yes to their date. They secretly snuck away from the chaos of the bayou and found the small trail that led to the lake. They made small talk as they walked along, talking about what they would do when they got to the lake. Suddenly, a loud noise was heard from behind. "Is that footsteps?" Pierre whispered to Gabrielle as they crouched behind the large chicken tree that had fallen. The footsteps got closer and closer to Pierre and Gabrielle. Closer as Pierre and Gabrielle could only anticipate what creature was creating the loud booming steps that were crashing through the brush behind them. Pierre clutched Gabrielle close and closed his eyes, praying that it wasn't a human. Humans around here were the most dangerous things around here. Pierre had heard them call themselves Cajuns. He did not know what that meant. All he knew is they ate raccoons like him, and that terrified him. He did not want him or Gabrielle eaten by anyone, especially a Cajun. And that is all I have for that.
Yeah, I think you're aware of some of the grammatical issues and things that you're dealing with there. I like the atmosphere though. The characters in the atmosphere are good. I will say you don't really introduce the raccoon thing too early on. It takes a while for me to get to know what kind of animal Pierre is. So that's one thing that you could.
I talked to Jesse about it. He said he liked the fact that he wasn't mentioned as a raccoon and then kind of just boom mentioned. But I wanted to get some more feedback on that because I didn't know whether or not to, because I had him mentioned at the beginning and then I changed it later on, but I wanted to get some feedback on.
Yeah, sorry. This feels to me like it's a middle grade kind of a thing, similar to, are you even familiar with the Green Ember series?
I've never heard of that.
Okay. Green Ember, SD Smith. I forget what it's actually called. Green Ember's like the first book, I think. Hold on. Series. Is it actually called the Green Ember series? It is. Okay, so it's a 4-book set. Yeah, so it's by SD Smith. It's a pretty enjoyable sort of thing. It's more rabbits and a more English countryside sort of a thing for the most part. But they are also doing have you heard of Redwall?
Yeah, I have heard of it. I've never read it.
Yeah, but you know what Redwall is. So it's similar to Redwall or something like that, where they have more of like, it is in the human world and they are animals, but they have societies and clothes and like, you know, swords and things like that. And so while this may or may not have that, it feels like that kind of world. It feels sort of middle grade. Someone maybe like 7 to 11 would probably read something like this. And I could be totally wrong on that. But for someone who's 7 to 11, I feel like establishing a raccoon earlier on is actually kind of important versus if this is for an older audience. I agree with Jesse.
If the goal is to be for an older audience, I just haven't.
Yeah, you haven't gotten there yet. Okay, well then go with what Jesse says. Because I agree with him on that. But it does still feel like that. It can be more intense and be for an older audience. I'm not opposed to that at all. I'm just going by what I felt.
The plan is to get it more intense. I just, for my own sake, wanted to start off not intense.
Yeah.
That way I can make it more intense later on.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to do it yet.
Right. Have you ever seen the movie or read the book The Secret of NIMH?
I have seen that movie so many times.
Okay, gotcha. That was one that I was going to suggest for really intense, something similar to this that you could pull from, just for inspiration and whatnot. Not do anything like exactly like what they do, obviously, but just like even just for atmosphere. You know, it's a similar kind of a thing. So.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the book is totally different. I have not fully read it, but I've read chunks of it, and it is very, very different from the movie. and might be interested in. Watership Down is another one, the movie and the book.
Okay.
Very, very intense. Now, they're technically for a younger audience, but they're full of death and gore. So it's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah,
It's sort of
I plan on adding some like death and gore is going to be in the book. I just like mentioning the raccoon's paw missing as a result of a trap. That's obviously going to be edited way better. It's not going to sound like, oh yeah, by the way, random side note, he lost his paw in a trap. Just tell the story and then get on. Like, it's just, it's going to be better than that.
Yep.
That was just kind of, I kind of just threw that idea into there so that I can remember to add that somewhere in the story, because I think that it'd be kind of funny to add that in the story, honestly.
For sure.
So like adding that into the story. What else do you suggest maybe changing or adding or taking away?
As far as it is right now, I think it's good. I think the biggest thing is getting meat on the bones of your story. You have a general idea of where you're going, or not so much right now?
No, I have an idea of the entire book, like what the story's going to be about and how everything's going to play out somewhat. Yeah. I have all my characters already created.
Oh, good.
I have characters with like several of the characters in the story are going to have what's the character arcs where you're gonna there's going to be an issue that they have at the start of the at the start of the story, and by the end of the story, their issue is going to be resolved one way or another, like in a good way. Like there's going to be something wrong or evil, or they're going to be struggling with some issue throughout the story, and throughout the story, that issue is going to eventually get fixed or resolved, and they're going to become better as a result of the story.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's cool. That is cool. Yeah. So how long are you sticking around?
I can stick around for a good few more minutes. I'm just cleaning. I just couldn't read my story. Like once I got deeper into the cleaning, I was not going to be able to stop and read my story.
Right. I hear that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I have, like I said, 3 I'm going to read regardless of whether you're here or not. It's only 24 minutes into time. Might want to wait and just talk for a bit and see who shows up. And if they don't, I'll just read stuff and put it all together into an episode. But yeah. So, let's see what else is going on.
I've literally been waiting a month to read that.
I'm enjoying what you got so far, man. I think you're the first one with unless TK did one that I don't remember. You might be the first one to do an animal story, which is cool.
Yeah, I think the first person I had ever discussed it with was Abby, because she was the only one that joined my Discord that night. Because I was like, man, I want to discuss the story, get some ideas going. And then, believe it or not, I had like a 2-hour-long conversation with Ian about it. And me and him brainstormed like a whole bunch, and he gave me a lot of good ideas.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, me and Ian are like cool now. Like we talk in DMs quite often, and like obviously you haven't seen us argue about like anything.
Yep. Honestly, it's been pretty good as far as people getting along in the Brood. I think it's been pretty good lately. So I'm hoping that continues.
I think I need to go fix that.
Do what?
I think I need to go post something like super controversial now.
There you go.
No reason. I just feel the urge to all of a sudden. No, I wouldn't.
Oh boy.
Just jump in there.
Do what?
Just jump in there, say something crazy.
Yep. Oh, I do every now and then, but not super controversial usually. But like people know me by now; they know what they disagree with me on.
They're not going to argue with it.
Right. Do you like pop punk music?
What is pop punk music?
Okay. Have you heard of the band Yellow Card?
Yeah.
Okay. You like Yellow Card?
I don't listen to them, not really, but
okay.
Let's see.
The
name
seminal
some bands that would.
The one of the seminal bands people would name is Fall Out Boy. I'm not a huge Fall Out Boy person, but that's like what people initially think of. You also Green Day.
Yeah, then I know it. Oh,
Green Day, Blink 182. Yeah. Okay. So
Oh
you like,
yeah, okay,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I like that music. I listen to
Okay.
Blink 182. I think every day.
I did an album that on Suno for just for myself. Like I'm gonna share it with some people, but like I literally did it because I wanted this album to exist for my own listening. I don't care
Uh-huh.
up to ever like work because I don't have pop punk vocals. My voice is too low. I don't have the inflection to do it, and mimicking the inflection feels fake. Um, and so
I have to sing like super nasally to get it.
right,
Like
yep.
what's a if I sing like crud, what's that Blink 182 song that's like kind of super easy to sing if you sing nasally?
All the small things.
Where are you?
Oh yeah,
And
I
I'm
miss
so
you.
sorry. I
Yep,
miss
yep.
you. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I'm singing it like out loud in my neighborhood. Neighbors are
yep.
gonna be like, "What the hell?"
But what I did,
What is
what I was just gonna say, what I did for this album is I've wanted this album to exist for a long time. I'm a huge Yellow Card fan. They're one of the only pop punk bands that integrated a non-traditional instrument into their group. They have a full-time violinist who plays along with their stuff, and they're amazing. They have 2 albums that are like over the moon, like top of my charts albums, and then like I like all their other stuff too. But I wanted an album. I got inspired for a pop punk album that uses basically it's a concept album about a millennial my age growing up and all of the emotional baggage that comes with growing up, and it uses a ton of basically the whole thing is Peter Pan themed. It's Peter Pan metaphors the entire way through.
Okay,
And it took me a long time on the poetry. I started working on this when Suno first came out.
What is Suno again?
Suno is the main mainstream thing you can do for like generating music and songs and stuff. Most of what you hear out there is most of what you hear out there.
Yeah, okay, that's the one my dad uses.
Yeah.
My dad uses Suno like every day.
Gotcha. So I know a lot of people who do. It's really great for a lot of different things. It's at the very least a really great demoer, something to just do some demos and play with ideas. But I needed this album to exist just for my own listening sake, and I created this album that I just call Pan. I in my brain the name of the band is Kickflip the Golden Pass. That's the name I came up for them. But it is a story. It's not like my poetry where it's like full narrative. It's still like songs, but it has a full concept album arc with characters in it and stuff like that. And it is, I just finished it like a couple days ago because I was basically like having to wait on the van and all the other stuff going on. And I just wanted to do something that would be productive and entertaining and didn't feel like drone work that could be interrupted at any moment. And so I just kept working on it and finally finished it. And I've had a couple people listen to it and it's been really good. I'm going to send it to you now that I know that you like pop punk, because I think that's going to be the barrier for a lot of people is a lot of, I think Daniel's one of them. They think that pop punk is a lesser form of rock, because it's got the poppiness to it, or it's whiny, or it's, whatever. But it was the sound of it. I basically wrote an album that I would have loved during the period where pop punk was popular, which was my high school years, early high school years. Yeah. Right. And I love Yellow Card to this day. I listen to it for the sake of relaxing. And so I've got this album now and I'm super proud of it, but I'm not going to do Broodcast just because, AI. I understand. I'm actually more on that train, not for AI itself, but the big tech is ticking up there trying to control everything with it, which I don't like. I'm Mr. Open Source. So let's see here. Let me send this. It's 11 tracks. It's about 40-ish minutes. So you can listen to it when you want. But let me see here. Carey, there you are. Send it in Discord here. But yeah, no, I'm I'm pretty pleased. I'm really pleased with it. I made myself cry with a couple of them, so it was very good. But yeah, so let's see. Are we gonna get anybody? What time is it now? Okay, it's only 32. I'm gonna wait till probably 9:45, 10 before I start reading something else.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check out your album.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there he is.
Yo!
Brendan. What's up, dude?
I am present.
There
And
he
accounted
is.
for.
Barely.
Wait now.
I'm sorry,
What,
man.
huh?
Carey?
What?
What'd you say last, Carey?
Oh, I was messing. I said, yeah, it's Brennan, the guy we were just waiting on. I mean, technically, we're waiting on somebody, so Brennan is that guy now.
Yep.
I am that guy.
He's the guy, like in Spy Kids 3. Does anyone get that reference besides me?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Oh, well. The guy was played by Frodo. Anyway.
Elijah Wood.
Oh, yes, I have seen Spy Kids 3.
Okay.
I remember that. Yeah, because he, like, appears and he's, like, maxed out levels or something and, like, dies, like, 2 seconds in or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, you remember.
Yeah, it's been years. I think I haven't seen that probably in about, like, I don't know, like, 7 years or something like that. I think the last time I saw it.
I like the first two. I don't like the third one, but the third one is so memeable because it's just so dumb. The first two are just dumb too, but like for other reasons. So, Brendan, did the grueling schedule of your position allow you for any creative activity you wish to share?
No.
Okay. Well,
I mean, nothing new.
Nothing new.
I have old stuff I could share, but
that's if you want to. I love hearing your stuff.
Oh, I'm so stupid.
I mean, except that you already read the thing I would have shared, which is
I did, but other people who listen to the Broodcast haven't.
I haven't. Whatever you're talking about.
I mean, yeah, and I know that Joel at least gives feedback, so I could just do a quick thing on that.
Okay. I have 3 things tonight. Carey just shared one because he doesn't know how long he's staying. But at least he could get his thing out and get some feedback on it. So
okay. You are the one. You are the one.
I'm just one of.
So do you want me to read one of these and give you a minute to get stuff ready, Brendan?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I will do Marty's. That'll give some time for people to show up too, Lord willing, if they're available. So let me get Marty's up here. I believe I just read the prelude before. Last Broodcast, I skipped over Marty accidentally. I forgot he just wants me to read through the book, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. It's a lot better this time around. And so I wanted to promote it and do my best. So I will read either this whole chapter or part of it, depending on how it's landing. This is chapter 1, The Last Summer Before. The first time Cousin George came down from Boston was in the summer of 1858, when I was 14 years old and Samuel 13 and still missing 2 front teeth. After that, every June like clockwork, that northbound train would whistle into Danville Station, and out would step our Boston dandy. Shoes shined bright enough to see your reflection, straw hat tilted just so, trousers pressed with a crease sharp enough to slice Sunday ham. Ready to spend the whole month turning off quiet farm life upside down and inside out. By the summer of 1861, we'd done it 4 years running, and I reckon every soul on that place figured it would go on forever. Same as the corn growing and the sun rising. Shows how much any of us knew about the way the world can crack clean in two. George was Ma's sister Martha's boy, first cousin on the Harris side. And Lord have mercy, when that train slowed and the conductor hollered, "Danville!" and George stepped down onto the platform, Samuel and me near bust a gut laughing every single time. There he'd stand blinking in the Tennessee sun like a mole come above ground. Valise on one hand, a box of Boston chocolates in the other, looking for all the world like a city peacock dropped straight into a hen house full of plain brown chickens. Pa would shake his head slow, spit a stream of tobacco juice into the dust, and mutter something low about Yankees and foolishness and city boys who wouldn't know a plow handle from a parasol. Ma, though, she lit up like Christmas morning, eyes sparkling behind the tears she always swore was just dust, and hugged George so hard his stiff collar popped loose and his hat went crooked. Samuel, being 16 that last summer and full of pure hero worship for this exotic creature from the north, trailed after him like a faithful hound pup, begging to carry the fancy leather valise or the parcel tied with real string instead of binder twine. Me, I was 17 and thought I knew everything worth knowing about the world and a fair piece besides. Took one look at George's soft, pink, unblistered hands and declared him about as useful as teats on a bull hog. Took him less than a week to prove me dead wrong. First full day, I dragged him fishing down at the creek, figuring I'd show this city boy how we did things proper in Tennessee. Handed him a cane pole I'd cut myself, a rusty Maxwell House coffee can full of night crawlers me and Samuel had dug at dawn, and my smuggest grin. 10 minutes later, George was squealing higher than a stuck pig because a big old crawdad had latched onto his big toe like it meant to take it home for supper. Samuel laughed so hard and fell clean into the water, splashing like a hound after a stick, and I laughed harder watching George hop around on one foot in them shiny shoes, hollering in that clipped Boston accent that sounded like he had a mouthful of marbles. Good heavens, Virgil! The wildlife here is positively insurrectionary. I about died laughing at insurrectionary. Still don't know to this day if he meant it as a joke or if it was just how Boston boys talked when something pinched them. We laid there on the creek bank half the afternoon after that, shirts off, feet dangling in the cool water, too wore out from laughing to move. Sun speckled down through the sycamores and painted gold patches on Samuel's freckled back. George just stared up at the sky like he'd never seen it before. Blue so deep it hurt to look at. "Y'all got a different sky down here," he said finally, voice softer with wonder. Samuel giggled, kicking water. "Sky's the same everywhere, silly." "No, sir," George answered, serious as Sunday. "Up north, it's hemmed in by buildings and factory smoke and church steeples. Here it just rolls on forever, like God left the gate open and forgot to close it." I didn't say nothing, just felt the truth of it settle in my chest like a hand squeezing gentle. That was the first time I ever thought maybe leaving Tennessee would feel like leaving part of my own skin behind. That was how every June went year after year. George would show up smelling of train smoke and city soap and peppermint sticks, and within a day, the three of us were inseparable, running wild from dawn till the whippoorwills started calling, getting into just enough trouble to keep life interesting, but not quite enough for Pa to reach for the razor strop. We built forts in the hayloft. I must pause there. We built forts at the hayloft. Note to self, this is where I'm stopping for Marty's thing this time around. I can look it up later. So I'll stop there about 4 pages into the first chapter. Thoughts on that for Marty? Anybody?
I mean, the language of the narration
Mm-hmm.
is I appreciate the voice a lot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think it's well done. I don't really have anything to contribute in terms of like notes, but I mean, I had a hard time because I got distracted by something partway through, and so I kind of missed who was who.
Right.
But I was able to figure it out relatively quickly. I was able to figure it out relatively quickly, so that's not super hard, or that's not hard. That's nice, a nice bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that some of the other younger writers could do to learn from his example of repeating information.
Mm-hmm.
Because George is the guy who got off the train, right?
Yes.
If I remember right,
Yes.
George is the guy who got off the train at the beginning. And I missed that initially, but he mentioned again, like 2 more times, something about him being from Boston or like the exact thing. So that whereas I think a lot of us writers would mention it once because we mentioned it and then just focus so much on what's happening that we don't take the time to reflect on or what's being said. In some cases what's being said is also very important to some of us, that we don't take the time to reflect on or to clearly dictate, one, what is the character doing in between each he said, they said, she muttered, he spat, whatever, pick your word of choice, right? Pick your tag of choice. But also, we don't repeat information because there will be times when it's like, oh yeah, wait, you're in Georgia.
Right.
Right? Talking with you, I don't think about the fact you're in Georgia, but every once in a while it'll go, oh wait, hold on, yeah, no, you're in Georgia, so of course it's hot down there.
Right.
Of course you live in a place that it's hot because you hate the cold, you know.
Right.
And so it's like having that repeated information is really like, you can't do, if you do it too much, it becomes annoying. So obviously there's this fine line you got to walk. And if you're doing something like what Abigail does, where she writes short stories, where every word counts and she has a deadline and she has to be very precise, then yeah, obviously, you have to, you have to tailor the advice of repeat information to the kind of story you're writing. But I think that a lot of us could do with repeating, like just throwing another line in about where they're from to give, or about a detail that's important.
Especially when you're establishing stuff, yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're establishing stuff. Just to one, help solidify it, and two, to draw the connections between that thing and other stuff, right?
Carey, did you have any thoughts?
I thought that's just...
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, it's like, I thought that's just how people from Boston reacted to being pinched, right? That's a great line. It's a funny little connection draw, but it also helps reinforce the, he's not from here. He's from Boston. He's from the North. So anyway, I'll shut up now.
Carey, did you have any thoughts?
I liked it. I like the fact that you called them crawdads instead of crawfish, because that's what everybody else calls them. Or he called it, whoever wrote it.
Yeah. They're Tennessee, so probably they would call them crawfish or crawdads, probably, like one of the two, but not crayfish, Yeah.
I liked it. I like the accent, the voice. It really makes you feel like you're in the South in the 1800s. And then obviously the language is pretty accurate for that place and time and whatnot. So it's like, it makes me want to definitely listen to the rest of the story. Literally jumping into the middle of it. I've never heard this story before, and I was like, oh, No, this is actually.
I just started the first chapter. I didn't read I read the prelude on one of the previous ones. That was the first chapter.
Oh, okay. Well, cool then. Yeah, well, it's a good first chapter. I
got a
honestly
little
thought
bit
it
of
was like jumping in.
Yeah, it's got a lot of Mark Twain style stuff in it. It's about two boys growing up, going to war, stuff happening there, and then them having to figure out and reconcile that while moving west for the land rush and stuff. So it's enjoyable. Okay. I'm enjoying the rewrite. His first version was he had some issues with some of the AI that he was using to help with the writing, and he's smoothed all that out personally and done a really, really good job with it, in my opinion, getting the story back on track. So I've been pleased with the way it reads. It's an enjoyable story. The characters are good, and I can really put my voice to it. So, I've enjoyed diving into it. So, okay. So Brendan, do you want the next slot?
Sure.
Okay.
Give me one second.
Sure thing.
Okay, now that I got that sorted. Okay, now I need to find it again. Where did it go? Where did I put it? It's around here somewhere. Oh, did I close? No, it's an edge. Of course it's an edge. Boo. Okay. So I'm just going to pull from the annals of Brendan's history on the show that was a movie script that he completed, the only completed movie script that he has. It's still rough draft, but this is a scene after the trio of main characters have finally been met up for the second time. To recap. Okay. Sorry, that was a bad joke.
I got it.
I
was just going to see if there was more to it. That was all.
No. To recap, David is the main character. He is human. He falls into a world called Avalon, kind of like Narnia walking through the wardrobe, but in this case, he trips, falls off a branch, and falls off a ridge and falls unconscious. Wakes up somewhere he doesn't know. It's a magical realm called Avalon. There are a whole lot of rules that I did not go over. Those are not important, really. He meets a. This is inspired by anime, so it's a cat human by the name of Chesh. And later on, he meets a young. I think I call them sylphs in this, or Silva in this script, but they are. She's basically an elf named Guinevere, who is the daughter of the. Not queen exactly, but the sort of leader of Avalon, the city, named Vivian. There is also the Nepharim, and Nepharrim, not Nephilim, Nepharim, different, but definitely drawing on that wordplay there. He has, I've established, has the power to make people mad. He can shapeshift, and we're going to see him be able to do something else. He drives a character by the name of Hatter insane. And the last time we see Chesh before they meet up again, Chesh dives into Hatter's hat to get him and discovers he's mad and then is chased away by something. David fights the Nephirim, gets his butt kicked, and proceeds to run back to Guinevere because the Nephirim makes some comment about taking care of her. And so he runs back to her. They meet up and they agree to look for Chesh. They find Chesh, and now this story is taking place after that moment. So this is just a brief scene. It is one of the very, I don't want to say few. It's an action sequence. So here we go. and it is in movie script format. So don't yell at me because the grammar's bad. It's a movie script. Fight me. So, exterior Avalon City night. David, Guinevere, and Chesh all leave. They're leaving the cathedral. As they are walking, David sees the Nephilim standing by a golem. The Nephilim smiles at him and touches the golem, which suddenly stiffens and turns to face the group. The Nephilim then vanishes into the shadows. David, guys? Guinevere, The golem begins to walk towards the group deliberately. David, we need to run now. Guinevere, it's just a golem, David. It won't. As she says this, Chesh, seeing the light in the golem and connecting the dots, throws himself into Guinevere, pushing her down. The golem suddenly takes 2 running steps and swings his fist down where the 3 were standing. David, who had already moved out of range, shouts to the golem, "Hey, over here!" The golem turns its head and attacks David. Chesh and Gwen get up and manage to get around. They confuse the golem for a bit, all meet up, and then run. Chesh, so much for getting a free ride. David, that's what you're worried about? Chesh takes the lead, sprinting down a number of narrow alleys. The golem continues to chase anyway. They take a number of corners until they hit a dead end. Chesh, up. David, how do we? Chesh rummages through some crates and he grabs a rope that was hidden. Chesh, hold this and grab Gwen. David, last time you said hold this, I was gliding over the city, hanging on for dear life. Guinevere, can we argue about this later? David begrudgingly grabs the rope and Guinevere steps up next to him. David awkwardly grabs her waist and she leans into him. David, now what? Chesh, hang on for your life. Chesh kicks a box, which causes a chain reaction that leads to David and Guinevere being pulled up by the rope they are holding until they tumble onto the roof. Chesh turns to the golem. David, Chesh! Chesh turns as the golem... Oh, right. That's a repetition. Chesh turns as the golem rounds the corner and runs at him. Chesh dodges a swing or two, then jumps onto the golem's back and leaps up onto the roof. Guinevere and David catch him and haul him up. The golem backs up and tries to leap up onto the roof, but it misses and only causes destruction. Chesh, this way. David, isn't the mansion the other direction? Chesh, yup. They run along the roof. The golem can be seen running along the main roads trying to get them. Guinevere, Chesh, please tell me you have a plan. Chesh, I have a plan. Guinevere, please tell me it's better than the flying bed incident. Chesh, you and I both know that was not my fault. David, didn't you just say we shouldn't be arguing? They arrive at a carpenter's house, and as a golem rounds the corner, Chesh leads the group over to a wardrobe standing outside. Chesh opens the wardrobe. Quick, in. David, Chesh, it sees us. Chesh, that won't matter. David, we're going to be sitting ducks in this thing. Guinevere, Chesh, what is this? Chesh, a shortcut. Please, just trust me. Guinevere and David hesitate, but they jump in. Chesh dives in after them and slams the door shut. The golem walks over, slows down in front of the wardrobe, and then smashes the wardrobe. But the wardrobe is empty. Interior mansion library night. Vivian is pacing back and forth in front of Gawain, a 40-year-old looking sylvan man. Gawain is dressed well, carries a curved single-edged sword. He is confident and kind, but cautious. He sits in the chair as he is deep in thought. A leather-bound book in front of him, open to a page. He and Vivian both look in the direction of the cabinet as Chesh, Guinevere, and David all tumble into the room in a pile. David looks up and recognizes where he is. Seeing Vivian, he quickly stands up and helps Gwen to her feet. David, we are... Guinevere, back in the library! Chesh, told you, shortcut. And that's where we'll stop.
I think that was hilarious.
Right?
Yay.
Super fun.
Especially not knowing anything that happened before. Just hearing and don't do like the last time.
Well, we don't know about the flying bed incident. That was before David showed up. So that's yeah, we're totally lost too. Was pretty hilarious. Yeah, just a good
honestly,
fun...
I don't even know what the flying bed incident is.
It just happened.
Yep. It's a reference to bed knobs and broomsticks at the very least, even if you didn't intend it.
Hey, there you go. Another accidental reference.
But yeah, this
But
is
yeah.
this is Brendan's thing to do a whole lot of references to. He has references to Aslan. He has references to just all kinds of stuff throughout this thing, because the world is, if you could correct me if I'm wrong, Brendan, but basically the world is a sort of a dream world where important stories, characters, people from history, etc., all sort of go in sort of a collective memory. Is that kind of more or less the case?
It's not very well explained. People can dream their way into Avalon, but my view of Avalon was it's sort of like it was meant to be what would happen if Eden hadn't whatever.
Fallen, yeah.
And people can go there in dreams, and important things in our worlds can have what are called remnants in there, which is basically just an echo of the thing in our world. So Aslan showed up for a while as an echo because Narnia was important. Chesh quotes Tolkien once. Lewis Carroll is explicitly implied in like 2 different ways.
I love how you said explicitly implied. That's a really funny combination of words. Anyway,
I have the Mad Hatter, and I mention Lewis Carroll by his real name.
And Chesh, yeah. Right. Cheshire Cat, yep.
Like, yeah, and Chesh, well, Chesh isn't, yeah, that's funny because Chesh isn't even a remnant. Chesh is just a guy, and in my headcanon, Chesh is the inspiration for the Cheshire Cat.
Right.
He himself isn't the Cheshire Cat, but he's the inspiration for the Cheshire Cat. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's what he's got going over there. It's pretty fun. It's an anime script basically. I really like it. He's doing some fun stuff with it. You have any other thoughts, Carey? Hearing all that.
Sorry, you cut out, and all I heard was Carey.
I said, do you have any other thoughts on that, Carey?
No, I just think it was hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit weird hearing in movie script, but I mean, obviously, you already gave us a forewarning for that. So,
yep.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to read a movie script
unless you have a bunch of people to play all the characters. Yeah.
Yeah, normally at table reads, which is how they usually do it, you have one person, usually the director, doing all of the narration parts. And then you have every actor reading their lines. So you don't have me saying, David, Guinevere, Chesh, David, Guinevere.
Well, they're the ones
right. They're just saying their lines. They're not even reading their name.
Right.
So you get that. Part of me wants to try to do that at some point and then submit to that as an audio thing for the brood to listen to rather than me reading it. But that involves forethought and planning, which is not my forte.
Well, as far as that goes, I'll do as many voices as you want. So. Yeah.
What?
I was just going to say, as far as that goes, I volunteer for as many voices as you want. You know, and you can have me fill in the gaps basically, you know, and you can get a couple of females and maybe another male or two in there, and we can make that happen. Just let me know.
There are 1, 2, 3. Well, I guess the mom also. So like 4 or 5. There are 5 explicitly named female characters, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 explicitly named male characters. Okay. So that would be interesting. And then there are other NPCs in the background of various.
Yep.
That it doesn't matter what they are.
Right.
Or it almost doesn't matter what they are.
Well, that sounds fun. Maybe we can get that going at some point. Oh, excuse me. All right. Next, I will go ahead and do Joel's. I think I pushed him toward the end last time. He actually gave me a one with character. I'm gonna put it in the chat for y'all to look at. Let me do that real quick.
Read what concept?
Yep. Hold on. I think I can. Did he just share it with me, or did he share it with? It looks like it's public. So let me. Where is my? Sorry, guys. I gotta look directly at you guys really closely, and there it is. Okay, and paste. There we go, and close the chat there. There we go. Okay. So you can follow along. He actually did color coding on this one, which I think will help with my characters, because I do good characters, as you guys know, but when there are so many of them, I tend to get confused. So
when there are many of them and they're not always tagged.
Right. So let's see here. So Starlet, female meek, Kira, female strong, Zoe, female young, Jennifer, female middle-aged, experienced nurse but nervous about new aliens. Gotcha. Zakaz, Quarkin, yep. Male, high-pitched, excitable, Fox, out of it. Got it. Okay. I think I can do this. All right. Chapter 41, Nightmares. Fox was tossing and turning in his sleep when Zoe followed Kira, Starlet, and Jennifer into the small medbay with. Okay. Muttering gibberish, he thrashed and kicked. His heart broke seeing her hero in such pain. Any thoughts of what Starlet had done were gone. If there was a way she could help him, she wanted to learn. Before Jennifer had been sent to find Starlet, she had helped Zakaz fill all the bites and gashes with a sticky putty. That's an unnecessary comma there. Okay. Then the patient had begun to squirm too much. 4 IV drops stood ready for the uncooperative Fox. Did he write? Okay, it says Starlet and the others as they go to help Fox with his nightmares. Zakaz is the Quarkin doctor. For those who don't remember, Kira and Starlet are aliens and Jennifer is human who has just met them. She's on autopilot. I know how to treat the patient. I can ask about aliens later. Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't read that at the beginning. Let me get back to it. Jennifer rushed over to hold one arm still. Zoe went to hold his other arm. Should we strap him down? Zoe asked. No, we would rip his skin, Zakaz answered. I shall block his nerves once he is safely in a dream. If he wakes from his nightmare and finds himself numb, he will never trust me again. Sitting on the edge of the bed, Kira took a deep breath. Starlet hooked her arm in Kira's lower arm. Can I watch? Zoe asked them. Kira shook her head. No, this is going to be bad, but if you can listen, you can listen if you wish. She handed Zoe a pair of glasses. I do not want this in your implant. You may change your mind and want to get out. She thought to Zoe. Then aloud she said, Ready? Starlet nodded, but as tension built, something seemed to happen. The two just sat there with their eyes closed. Fox continued to twist and turn on the table. After a moment, their voices came through Zoe's glasses. Do you see him? Kira asked. No, it is so dark. I think we might find him by listening better. Starlet suggested. Get off, Kira grunted. Where is he? What are they? What do you see? Zoe asked. Starlet's voice was detached and cold as she answered. They are something worse than the corrupted. They are a form of fear itself. How do we fight them off and move through them? Kira asked. We don't fight them. We let them take us. If we move with the flow, we will be at the center. Won't they rip us apart? This is far worse than I remember. Yes, but it is the fastest way, Starlet said, resignation in her voice. She squeezed her eyes tighter. His nightmares have gotten worse since your parents' death. Your own nightmares have also been colder. A blood-curdling scream that made Zoe break out. A blood-curdling scream that made Zoe break out in sweat. I guess came. I don't see the verb there. But Let's see. Okay. Who was that? Zoe thought to them. Someone he lost. He is watching people he tried to save be destroyed, Starlet told her. We must hurry. We can get to him before it gets worse. What is worse? Bigger monsters? Zoe asked, shuddering. The people who die are closer to him, Starlet replied. His nightmares were never this bad before, Kira said. I am sorry, Starlet. I have left this task to you alone for far too long. Zoe listened, horrified. She thought that it might be simple going in and starting a dream, like Starlet had for her. Beneath her hands, Fox continued to thrash. If she wasn't careful, he could hurt himself or her. Shh, Fox, we're here for you. Starlet and Kira are coming for you. Let them find you, Zoe whispered to him. What are they doing? Jennifer asked, wrestling with his other arm. I hope they do it quickly. They're in his mind. They're fighting through his nightmare to get him out. That's weird. How do you know? Zoe handed Jennifer an extra set of glasses from earlier. You can hear them talking. They are connected by an implant in their brains. Putting on the glasses, Jennifer saw the HUD and heard the two searching for Fox. Where did that one come from? Asked Kira. I think this way, Starlet answered. Ah, ow! How are these things not hurting you? Kira asked, grimacing. They are. Just focus on searching. The more you acknowledge the pain, the more they can do. Just do not let them get your eyes. Is that Zoe? Kira asked. Zoe looked up in surprise. No, it is the other girl, the other Earth girl, Starlet answered. The one from his past. He sees her die when he dreams of the Earth being destroyed. Do you not remember? I always just would wake him. I only had to go in after him a few times. It has been so long, and I guess I blocked it out. Wait, that is me. Losing you is one of his biggest fears. Do not watch yourself. It will mess with you watching things happen to you. There he is, Kira said. No, Fox, over here. That is not really me. Oh, In the room, Kira winced and covered her mouth. I think mine was worse than the others. I told you not to watch, replied Starlet. No, Kim. Fox mumbled, trying to roll. This is too weird, Jennifer said, taking off the glasses. Yeah, whatever's in there, it's real to them, Zoe said, knowing the two must be fighting just as hard as they had been back in the city. Wishing there was a way to help, she tried again to whisper in his ear. It's okay. You're safe. Kira's here. Right here with you. This is just a bad dream. It will be okay. Come back to us, Fox. He relaxed a little. Zoe, keep talking to him. I think he can hear you. He seems to be focusing on your voice, Kira said aloud. Zoe stroked his hair and kept talking soothingly, telling him help was on the way and that he was safe. Again and again she told him that they were all with him. He stopped. Get him quick before something else does, Starlet said. Fox, it's me, Kim Rauralta, or however you pronounce that, I can't remember. The real me. Fox, look at me. You were hurt. You are unconscious. But you're safe now. Look, Starlet is here too. Hold on to us. Fox lay still, and his muttering stopped. There you go. Let us take you out of here. We have you. Good job, Kira, Zoe said, hoping that they could hear her. Kira gave her a thumbs up, but kept her eyes shut. Kim, Starlet, am I dead? Fox asked. No, Father. You are safe. We are all safe, Starlet sang. Look, Fox, do you remember this place? Kira asked. The Hurak Gardens, Fox answered, his voice calming. Your favorite dream. Walk with me, my champion, Kira cooed, finally relaxing. A moment later, Starlet opened her eyes. She let go of Kira and rubbed her face. Zoe was still holding Fox's hand, stroking his hair and whispering to him. Jennifer, shaken, noticed that Starlet was looking around. What was in there? She asked with a shudder. What did you see? Starlet stood up and picked up the glasses that Jennifer had thrown off and handed them back. No, I don't think I want to see. With a look of compassion in her eyes, Starlet pushed the glasses again. You have to. It's the only way to hear her, Zoe explained. Jennifer put them on, confused. This is how you must hear me, Starlet said, using her gentle singing tone. It is like a swarm of creatures that are trying to grab you, tear you, and eat you. Only they do not have bodies. They are as a shadow, a dark form. From it comes dozens of hands and claws and teeth. They bring someone you love in front of you and tear them to bits. Everyone has their own nightmare. Some have many. Jennifer shivered. Zoe continued to caress Fox. Starlet looked at Zoe, her eyes apologizing and pleading at the same time. This is Fox's, and he has it each night, or one like it, unless someone gives him a dream. Because he has lived it? Is that why it is so vivid? Zoe asked, understanding she may soon have to be the someone, like the one I had. Yes, he has saved thousands of lives, but he only remembers the ones he lost. Is it always so bad? Zoe asked, a twinge of nervousness entering her voice. No, usually you can simply wake him and start over. She gestured to his wounds. But with him in his condition, he needs to be asleep. What's happening now? Jennifer asked, pulling the IVs closer. Kira is making a peaceful dream world for him. It is a calm place that will keep his mind from the ghosts that haunt him. What's it like? Jennifer wondered. She is taking him on a peaceful walk through beautiful woods. I can show you, but you can only look for a moment. Yes, please, they both said. In the glasses, they saw lush woods with white trees that had blue leaves. Bird-like creatures flew through sunbeams that shone through the branches. Kira, wearing a regal-looking red dress, walked arm in arm with Fox, a second arm around his shoulder. His dashing bright red uniform had many medals and ribbons. She led him down a path lined with flowers, talking and laughing. Then the vision was gone. I want to let them have some privacy. She needs to keep his attention. It looks like a princess walking with her knight, commented Jennifer. Starlet thought for a moment. I do not know these words. There are too many definitions to be clear, Starlet said. Night is after the sun goes down, right? A princess is a little girl. This night is spelled differently. A knight is or was a type of warrior from Earth's past, Jennifer explained. They would fight for kings. Now they are the heroes of our stories that save maidens from dragons and stuff. A princess is the daughter of a king or other royalty. Lots of dads call their daughters princesses now, but that is the original meaning of the word. Turning to look up at her captain, the blue alien continued with a sad note in her song-like voice. Then that is exactly what you saw. Kimaralta's parents were both from ruling families. If we ever take her father's homeworld, there are those that would see her made queen. She is a hero to many Astari. Fox is one of the strongest of the champions taken from Earth and made into the most dangerous fighters in the galaxy. Kira's father chose to pair her with Fox, the bravest of all, so she would be protected. No one would dare oppose him, but in our story, it is usually her that saves him. After starting an IV line, Jennifer watched as Zoe started a second. She took her time lining it up. First time for real? Just take a deep breath. Jennifer was used to young nurses getting into their own heads, but the younger woman got it on her first try. Zoe tapped her glasses. This thermal vision helps a lot. I could see his veins. Standing shakily, Starlet took a needle, preparing to insert it into his leg. Do you want me to do that? Jennifer asked, raising an eyebrow at the alien's shaky hands. He is my responsibility, Starlet said without looking up. Eyes still closed, Kira pulled Starlet back to her seat. She is a human nurse, the tall alien whispered. He is in good arms. Starlet nodded and grabbed a drink for her and her captain. Holding her bottle in both hands, the blue alien steadied herself. Zoe wanted to ask a million more questions, but saw that Starlet was drained. We can move him to a bed in the rooms soon, Zakaz said. Now that he is still, I want to get his back attachment off. They rolled Fox on his side, revealing a T-shaped device that spread across his shoulders and down his spine. Zakaz took a tool and unscrewed it from his vertebrae and shoulder blades. Jennifer and Zoe held it as he finished the final pieces. It should just pop off, but the fire may have fused it. We may have to pull hard, Zakaz told them. With Starlet joining them, they pulled. It came off with a loud suctioned pop. What's this? Jennifer asked, giving it a skeptical look. This is how he makes wings, is that right? Zoe asked, looking at Zakaz. Yes, he nodded. It is a modified force field generator. He will heal faster with it off. He had wings? Jennifer asked. Yeah, they looked like they were made of light. They were amazing, Zoe said. They spread the cream across his body, covering all the burns. Then Zakaz handed them rolls of bandages, and they wrapped his arms and legs. Doctor, Jennifer asked, what do you want to do about this finger? It's just bone. There's nothing left. Should we cut it off? No, Zakaz said, handing over a jar. Cover it with the putty. We can regrow, but having the bone will help speed it up. What? You can regrow fingers? Jennifer gasped in astonishment. We can regrow arms. It just takes time. It takes much time. What's this stuff on his bones? Jennifer asked, picking at the black ribbon that seemed to crisscross around Fox's finger bones. I can't get it off. It is a very strong and light alloy that is printed right onto the bone, Zakaz explained. We wrapped all the champions' bones like this to strengthen them. It has saved them from hundreds of breaks and a few times from dismemberment. Okay, that's Jennifer. That sounds painful. How do we get to each bone? Jennifer asked, horrified at the thought of a surgeon cutting to access each bone. The nanites do it, don't they? Zoe asked, excited that she was figuring it out. That is correct. It is done while you sleep. You do not even feel it, Starlet explained. You don't need treatment for the burns? Jennifer asked. Will he need some kind of surgery or skin graft? No, the cream and the nanites in his blood will do the rest, Zakaz said. We will give him a bath and a special gel later. Right now, he just needs to get some rest and let them work. This really is a small medical bay, Jennifer said suspiciously. I would have thought you would have room for more than just one patient. Oh, this is a really small medical bay. Okay. Still resting in the corner, Kira let out an amused snort. Ha ha, yeah, it is a bit small, Zakaz laughed. Oh, what must you think of us? No, this is basically a closet. The only space on this little shuttle that I was given. The ship is still up there. This little thing fits on the wing. It says, a quick note for the Brood. Zell was the Astari booster was talking about at the end of the last read. Kit was who she was talking about. Okay, and the two voices here, Kit, strong, empathetic, wise. Okay. Yep. Kit was rushing down the hallway, dragging a queen-sized mattress. He was wrestling it around a corner when a voice came from the far side. Hi, Kit, Zell said. Hi, what's up? He yanked the mattress. Could you push that? Gripping it easily with her claws, Zell grabbed the mattress with all four hands and lifted. Thanks, Kit said, steering into the door. Shouldn't you be asleep? I cannot. I see that woman, Samantha, every time I close my eyes. Looks like you got your first ghost. I'm so sorry. Handlers do not get those, do they? Her eyes went wide. How do you forget them? I mean, how do you push past and get any rest? With the mattress on the bed, he turned, giving her his full attention. You never forget them. And yes, handlers get them too. It does get a little easier with time. He put his hand on her arm. Come with me. I have something to show you. So that is the end of that chapter. Thoughts? for Joel. Carey or Brendan. Brendan's not sure.
I'm still here. I'm dealing with puppies real quick.
Sure. What's up, Brendan?
What do you say?
Mm-hmm.
like what's there to say?
I think he does a good job with these abstractions of the story, but there is a lot of telling still because things are so abstract. And he's gotten better at showing them, and I really do like what he's actually the story he's actually telling. But it's just that's probably the farthest I can go to actually critique at this point. Is I feel like because so much goes on in the head, you kind of have to tell it, you know?
Yeah. The problem is okay. So it's entirely logical that the character would. You're getting this from Zoe's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's entirely logical that the people, the aliens, the high-tech people, the people who've done this before, who are there, would say, no, human, you've never done this before. You have no training. We're not going to let you do this.
Mm-hmm.
We'll tell you what's going on, and we'll let you listen, but you can't be in here with us.
Right.
So it makes perfect logical sense. But you're right, from a story perspective, it's kind of
Right.
Because all it yeah, it's showing just how out of her depth Zoe is, kind of.
Right.
But her being thrown into the middle of it would make that even more like, whoa.
Right.
Now, we can argue whether or not that's a good thing. Like, ever since Raiders of the Lost Ark, there has been, like, movies have gotten shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And everything has gotten faster, more intense, more, like, you know, ratchet up everything. The stakes have to get higher. They have to get higher, and then you end up with mayhem. But at the same time, yeah, everyone says show, don't tell. And so it would have been really good to have the nightmares from Kim, whatever her name is. Katira.
Yeah, it's Kira. Yeah, the short name is Kira. She has a longer name. But yeah.
Kira. Shira, whatever. The point is, like, it would have been good to have this whole sequence be from her perspective,
mm-hmm.
so that you could have seen and not just, you know, not just had it been like, oh, we're telling you secondhand what's going on and Fox's reaction and stuff. I kind of wish that she started whispering to him, nothing happened. Then she whispered to him again, and it worked. Yes, that is how that should have gone. That is how that should have gone. Like, the first time it doesn't work, second time it works. You know, it's very classic story structure. But at the same time, I feel like there was this dream sequence that wasn't a dream sequence, this dealing with a man in a nightmare sequence. It took a long time. Like, sitting back and thinking about it, it felt like that was a long scene to me for what happened. But when I was listening to it, like, all of the beats were appropriate.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes. Agreed.
All of the moments. Was that my death? For Kira's like, wait, is that me being ripped apart? You know, it's like he fears you dying. Okay. So, you know, that's an appropriate moment. I haven't been here in a while. My goodness. An appropriate moment. Like, maybe he could trim one of those. Maybe. But Also, I'm pretty sure this is already published, so so if it's already published, there's like no point in editing
I don't think it
it
is. I think he's still looking for a publisher, and working through it. But yeah.
Well, you don't want to over edit something either.
True.
But yeah, I really appreciate the again, newer authors will go, he said, then she said, then he said, then whatever, right? I grew up reading R.A. Salvatore. I grew up with Lord of the Rings, but I didn't really read Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings was read to me. But as far as what I read, it was R.A. Salvatore, it was Stephen Bruce, and then eventually it was Jim Butcher. And all of them weave action in between the dialogue to break up monotony and to help play the scene, right? Mm-hmm. And Joel does the same thing consistently. There are a couple points. This one, it was less prominent just because everything was happening so abstractly in the brain, or in the mind, I should say. But, I mean, he did it again. And so...
Oh, yeah. The emotional beats are great. The story's great. Like I said, I just feel a little separated from it in this one as all, which, you gotta... The Zoe POV is super important to the whole thing.
The character is separated from it.
Right.
The character is separated. Zoe is from Zoe's perspective, and she's separated. So you feel separated because you are.
Right. Exactly. So, Carey, did you have anything at the moment, or are you still gone for the moment, helping with puppies and stuff? I will take that as gone with puppies.
The puppies have consumed them.
Oh no. There he is. Did you have any thoughts for Joel's story?
Not really. No, it was pretty good. I listened to, I would say, about 50% of it because I was kind of...
Yeah, you were busy. You were multitasking, yeah. Okay.
Wrestling with dogs.
Yep, we're speaking of wrestling. I got mine, and then that'll probably be it. We'll have a shorter broadcast this month, which is fine. But we're beginning a new episode of World of Wrestling. I have, let's see how many more I have in this. I have, looks like, two more full episodes, and then I'm into territory where I'm still writing. So we'll go ahead and start with poem 1 and do 2 or 3, depending on how it goes. So this episode, the actual episode, is called episode 4, The Big Dog's Identity. We've done 3 episodes so far. We'll start with poem 1, Time Off. Hank McClanahan was in his office, filing papers in stacks. Just then he heard a knock at his door just behind his back. He said, "Come in," and they did as they were asked, Jessica Valero and Joshua Slater. "Ah, yes. I asked to see you two. Sit down sooner than later." The two sat down in the office that used to be for William Rothschild, but since Hank McClanahan started cleaning it out, the place looked crazy and wild.
Hey, Joshua. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm heading out for the night.
All right, man. Have a good night.
All right, later, Brendan. Later, Joshua.
All right, see you, man.
Later.
Let's see here. Yeah, Will left behind. Okay. Will left behind a lot of paperwork.
Why don't you?
Yeah,
why don't you start back with "come in"? He said sooner rather than later.
Got it.
So let's start back there just so we get the run in.
Yep. The two sat down in the office that used to be for William Rothschild, but since Hank McClanahan started cleaning it out, the place looked crazy and wild. Will left behind a lot of paperwork for me and the board to sift through, but for now, I just want to thank you two for everything that you did do. Hank paused for a moment, and then the two said, "You're welcome," but they respectfully stayed quiet for him. While WWL is in a state of flux and looking for a new GM, I'd like to reward you two with paid vacation Take as much time as you need. Stay in shape and come back soon to a WWL with no greed. Hank dismissed them with a few more words. Then Joshua caught Jess's eye. This is perfect timing, Joshua. I've got a surprise. Number 2, the surprise. Later on that same day, Jessica arrived with Josh at the studio called Starlight Haven to meet Mr. Victor Bosch. They walked into a photography room with lights and white backdrops, cameras, tripods, wires and cables, costumes, catering, and props. Mr. Bosch, I'd like you to meet your project for today. Come, step into the light. Please get out of the way. Mr. Bosch was a tiny man with dark sunglasses seemingly shielding the blinding light that shined from his bald head and pores. He sweated profusely under the lights as he pushed Josh into his view. Nothing extraordinary to work with, but I suppose he will do. Hold it, Jessica, what's going on? I told you this is your surprise. Image consultation from the best. Then Josh widened his eyes. He watched in horror as they came with brushes, putting makeup all over his face, and in the din of their ramblings and ruckus, heard this simple phrase. I don't get the sense of a superstar, just a wrestler from the South. We have to do something about that. Joshua continued his pout. A few hours later, after the shoot was completed, the three of them went into a room. They sat at a table in the center. Josh tried to hide his gloom. Mr. Bosch tapped something on his cell phone, and a projector descended from the ceiling. It projected drawings of a wrestler that gave Joshua a sick feeling. Now it's time to go over how we market you. The big dog is so very generic, it simply will not do. This was the breaking point for Joshua. He looked into Jessica's eyes. That one look of horror and dissatisfaction radiated all it implied. Joshua stood up and stormed out of the room. Jessica followed behind. Joshua wondered if Jessica had simply lost her mind. Number 3, identity. Where are you going? Get back in there. He's going to make you a star. No freaking chance and no freaking way. Joshua got into his car. Jessica angrily got inside too and berated him some more. Then Joshua snapped defensively. He's trying to change my core. I'm not some paparazzi magnet. I'm the big dog. Wild and free. I don't care if that's generic. I'll be everything I can be. I don't need some annoying little man to tell me who to portray. I'll howl and fight like I always have. I'll find a way. Jessica saw his intense passion and the truth in what he said. She looked down for a moment or two. Okay, I'm sorry for what I did. I didn't realize identity meant that much to you. Maybe you should just show more of what that means and bring it all into view. Joshua nodded his understanding. Okay then, Jessica, I will. Jessica started up the car and Joshua began his show and tell. We're going to get more of that stuff in the coming ones, but that's those 3. Any thoughts?
You made him male Edna mode.
I did.
You made him male Edna.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of I don't know if you ever saw The Princess Diaries, but he's also Paolo from The Princess Diaries. Anyway, go ahead.
The only thing I know from The Princess Diaries is I'm invisible and I am wet.
That's a good
and
line.
You have my wife. And you have my wife to thank for that because that's something that she and her friends would quote whenever like they got rained on or whatever.
That's funny.
Just I am invisible.
But continue. That's what you're gonna say.
Well, that's the problem. There isn't a ton.
Right.
Like, and this is more setup. This would have been this would have been 2 quick scenes because poems 2 and 3 would be 1 scene in a film.
Yeah.
Even if you are doing a location change, you can still argue it as a scene.
Correct.
Even though technically speaking, it would be 2 because it's 2 locations. But from a story beat perspective, it's 1 scene. I feel like, I don't know, it seemed short to me.
Yeah,
The
they're
first
getting a
one.
little short. Yeah, I agree.
I would like more in the first one
Mm-hmm.
from
From Hank.
Hank, but also I want more about, like, you explained to me after who this guy, you explained to us, I should say, when he kicked them out, who this big guy was,
Right.
like what his function was.
Right.
I don't think you ever actually explained it in poem.
I did. It
And
was
I don't.
earlier than when he came back, because there was a board of directors thing. But yes, I agree. Fleshing that out a little bit more, reminding once again, like what we did with Marty. Yeah, I agree.
But also, well, the reminding, but also, I think having Joshua's reaction to having such a big person, like not just a
Yeah.
reaction, but like maybe getting his internal feelings of what is Joshua feeling, right?
Right. Because Hank's a legend. Yeah.
So yeah, he's talking to a legend. He might have been one of his heroes, one of the guys he looked up to. The
He's
thing that
about
got him started.
one generation back. Yeah, a little bit further back in my mind. But yeah, he would be like a founding father of everything that Joshua loves about wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah. And so having that, I think, would help, just to pad one. Not pad. Pad implies that it's not really necessary.
Well, padding
I feel
is
like,
comfortable. It needs to be more comfortable and
yeah,
less breakneck. Yeah.
yeah. I think you need to pad out one a bit to give and give that sort of emotional resonance of like, oh, what's going on, and that excitement. And I think that excitement then really cleanly juxtaposes against episode 2 when he meets male Edna Mode, and
Edgar mode.
Edgar Mode, sure, Edgar Mode, or no. What's a synonym for mode?
State.
Edgar
Edgar State.
State. Yeah, there we go. Edgar State. Um, get those squared away, and then yeah, I think that would help a lot.
Mhm.
That's the short version.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, because yeah, it would hit you have this wonderful juxtaposition of this emotional roller coaster from high to crashing down.
Yeah.
Um, you could pad 2 a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
But he storms out at the end of 2, and then at 3, they have this little fight.
I think the fight needs some more back and forth, but the hard part is trying to make Jessica and I think I can do it. Just trying to make her understood and not feel like she's just absolutely trying to take over everything and or just be a jerk, you know? Because like we already obviously side with Joshua in a lot of this. Like he is who he is, blah blah blah. But like I kind of want to play that Jessica has a point, even if this isn't the way to take care of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's going to be hard because you need to. because you're actually running into the same problem in an interesting way. The character is running into the same problem that a lot of artists do, where there's sort of like the two mentalities. And like YouTube is the easiest example, right? The sort of two mentalities of YouTube are: you chase the algorithm, you watch carefully all of your statistics, you upload at specific times, you upload frequently, you upload long videos now because that's what's rewarded, and you create content regularly, quickly, and you follow what the prescription is.
Right.
Is sort of side one. And then side two is to heck with the prescription. We need to just focus on making something really good.
Right.
And the fact that it's really good will reward it. And Joshua is trying to fall into this camp.
Right.
And Jessica is approaching at it from this camp. I think
by the end of 3 we need to have. Go ahead.
I don't want to tell you how to write this.
Sure,
but I feel like the best way of approaching this is Joshua saying he's uncomfortable and he doesn't like what's happening. Jessica pointing out correctly that many people who don't do this and try to ride on just their magnetic personality and whatever, they end up getting lost and disappear and they don't get any success.
Right.
And then Joshua turns back and goes, I think that the fact of the core, I don't want to sacrifice my core identity. I don't want to sacrifice that. That I think is a good linchpin, or not linchpin. I think that's a good like closer argument.
Yeah.
But there has to be, but your back and forth has to deal with him, like her pointing out rightly that like, listen, this works. A lot of the big names have used this guy.
Yep.
And a lot of people who don't do this and try to just rely on their raw skill and raw intuition and stuff like that end up like crashing, burning, and or being forgotten, which is worse. Right. You know, and his really only rebuttal is like, this is wrong. It's wrong. This is just his rebuttal starts off with, I don't like it. And then he finally articulates that it's not me. Right. I think that's how, if I were had any skill, that's how I would like pan this out.
Yeah.
But again, you're the poet, you know the characters better. I feel like if I had to, if you pointed a gun at my head and said, fix this, that's what I would say.
Sure. I think the one other thing that I would add, that I'm probably going to add, is I think that he needs to have, at the end, sort of well, there is more to me. There is more things that we can actually market. There is stuff that's like character driven and we can put some pomp and circumstance behind it. She's like, really? Okay. What are we doing? And that leads into where we're going. So I think there's going to be a little bit of that too. But yes, I think his initial thing should be just defensive. I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable. So I think you're right there. So yeah, I appreciate the feedback. Might as well do a little send off. I think we're done. I think everyone else was busy writing. Look at that. Trying to get stuff done for next time, I suppose. But and we can hang out for just a second if you feel like it. But everybody, be your family's bard. Do not turn to the right or to the left. And with the Lord will be with you wherever you go. We'll see you next time in the trenches on Poets at War.